Like, if I asked you that question, what would you think? Why are so many men clowns? Why are so many men just trying to entertain women instead of themselves or presenting their best self? It's because of a few things, in my opinion. The first thing I think of is Hollywood movies and that sort of, you know, the media. The type of shit we saw growing up where the nerd who obsesses over the girl eventually gets her from the jock. Every movie you watch which had like some kind of teenage romance, it was the same paradigm where it was the low status beta male. They were trying to like literally appeal to us. And he, you know, really wants this girl. He's obsessed over her, but the other guy's fucking her right now, like the big jock's fucking her. And then this nerd obsesses over her so much that eventually he's there to save her, and then she actually falls in love with him, and he's basically like aligned his life to get the girl. That's what they conditioned us to believe was like an attractive way to navigate your relationships with women. And of course, like we now know as adults, like of course it's not. Aligning your life to a woman and obsessing over her and basically stalking her, trying to like get her and save her from herself, even though she wants that jock, like that powerful, strong man. We know that this just makes you that simp who's constantly in, you know, her DMs messaging and she won't even meet you. I think another reason why there's so many guys who are just entertainers, and you probably have thought of this as well, is because of feminism. It's this weird dynamic that we all grew up at this time where there was so much pressure for us to admit that women didn't have equal rights, and so that we needed more like women's movements. Whereas none of us really had the confidence to say this back then, but like we all thought it. It's like women don't have equal rights. They've got superior rights. And so we shut up because we were all pussies, and they basically shit tested us and shoved feminism down our throats and our minds. They poisoned women with that, and then we had to just kind of sit there and think, oh yeah, they are kind of like the superior sex now. We have to kind of like, you know, do and be really polite to them and you know, be really serving to them. And of course that's going to make you more of like a little entertaining clown when you've been told all this time that women are, you know, so hurt and vulnerable and they're so like worse off than men. But the final one, what's happened in the last few years, it's the inflated egos of a lot of modern women because of how like the dating and degeneracy has went. You already know how this works. Like basically even average girls have got such high egos because so many guys want to fuck them, because most guys are like completely degenerate and have low standards, and you know, even like a 9 out of 10 guy is like trying to sleep with like a 5 out of 10 girl these days just because it's a, you know, it's like a late night smash for him. What she doesn't realize is that he doesn't actually really want anything serious. Or maybe she does realize that, but then her expectation of a man is completely different now. That 5 out of 10 that actually was on your level will now think that you're far below her because she's used to fucking guys who are 8s and 9s, and now she won't want to settle with a guy who's actually on her level, up until those 8s and 9s don't want to sleep with her anymore 5-10 years from now. And that's when she'll find like a nice little fucking bitch to partner up with. And that's your reward for being a hardworking man, a law-abiding citizen for 10 years. You know, you're 30 years old, you get to wife up a woman who other guys had in one night, and you have to commit to her, and she'll almost always be thinking that you're not even that great because she's been used to guys who only wanted to stay for the short term, but her mind convinced her that they actually were on her level. And so then of course, like, since there's that kind of paradigm where she feels above you, you feel like in some ways you need to put her on a pedestal and entertain her and, you know, like align your life into making her laugh and stimulate her. And then the problem with this whole space of dating is that young men have been given really poor advice on how to navigate this, because at first you've got that bullshit conditioning, you know, feminism and being a weak little crybaby about girls and everything. But then you get into this sort of online content space where we talk about like dating, and so many men end up dropping out of the dating market thinking, oh, it's just not worth it, you know, it's so difficult to attract a girl, which it kind of is, but only like where you're at right now. There's girls who go viral on the internet because, you know, they're like really negative and hateful, and so the sort of negative message goes really viral. But what you're not seeing is like there's still literally millions of cute, single, beautiful, feminine, like wife quality women all around the world who just aren't loud on social media. They're just not loud. Like, you know, they've got 300 followers on like a private Instagram page. They're not going viral. They're not going onto podcasts to shout about men ain't this and I want a guy who's on 7 figures or some bullshit. And so you often don't see just how many women, like normal, healthy women there are, like gorgeous women who literally just want like a normal life. They want a hard-working man. They don't even expect you to be on like looks maxing. They just want you to work hard to be able to provide, and they want you to like not be abusive, and then they'll think your husband material for that. And these are like some beautiful women from like low-key non-Western places, like, I don't know, Colombia, Thailand, Brazil, maybe some Eastern European places. And a lot of men are now actually deciding to like go over to those places because you don't have to entertain those women. It's something we've got to talk about. This concept of feeling like women's got massive inflated egos and you almost have to entertain them and stimulate them, otherwise they'll go and sleep with some other guy. Honestly, that's more of like a Western thing. Now, there's countries which aren't in the West which have the same problem. Like, for example, India has like a big problem with this. But in general, it's like these Western countries, UK, US, Australia, that has this problem with the dating market. And there's a reason why so many men are just choosing to like drop out of these dating markets and then move their attention elsewhere to different kinds of women. Now, there certainly is a lot of Western women who are still actually really high quality, feminine and everything. But obviously we all seeing like that decline. And of course, then the amount of effort that a man wants to put into dating and then into himself and working hard declines as well.